What is up, YouTube? Thank you very much for joining me on this very special occasion, sort of off-schedule stream, with Christian Peter and the one, the only Mr. Classy himself, Classy Games, Classy Crypto. He's just classy, all around classy here. We've got some questions from some tough, maybe, maybe not. We'll see. And maybe we get some some insight as to what he's up to these days, and what he's hyped on. Without further ado, let's hit the vid. What is up, classy
It's
Christian
magic.
Peter? Oh baby. Yeah, trying to sort of bring out my inner Grady. Yeah, baby. So
Oh no,
dude,
he goes way deeper.
oh no, oh yeah,
He
no, no,
goes
like,
like, "Let's fucking go!"
oh,
Like that's what he does.
oh my god, I can't bring half the energy in because my wife would come in here with like a
Yeah, kick
shoe
your
and throw
ass.
it at my head. She shut up. We'll start with quick reintroduction. Christian, what is up? How are you doing, man?
Fantastic, Sarge. It's been a long time. I mean, we were on the stream Friday with Icy Games, and that was cool as well. And now Classy on Monday. This is just it's a awesome time to get together, talk Web3 gaming, see what's going on in the space. And I appreciate you getting this stream together. Your intros just get better and better. Was that Beijing or Shanghai that you had there in the
I have no idea, but it looks cool. I gotta shout out to my non-sponsor sponsor Canva. If you've never used them before, if you're doing any content creation, they're awesome. They're great. Yeah,
That's the
no. So
starting point.
yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of starting points, dude. Thank you very much, Classy. You were awesome. You didn't have to jump on. I mean, I bugged you a couple of times. I know you're busy. You are one of those few full-time content creators. I mean, this is your bread and butter.
Full-time DGen, yeah.
Full-time DJ in the bear, nonetheless. So, thank you very much for making some
I've
time for us.
survived.
We're all here just surviving. We're on dripped IVs here, but we're going, dude. If people don't know you, I don't know why they wouldn't know you. I mean, you're big in the space. Who are you? What are you up to?
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. Oh, like if they don't know me, but realistically speaking, there's like 12 Web3 gamers in the space. Like maybe they know me, but realistically speaking, most people don't. We're very early on. Like I am the crypto gaming connoisseur. I've been covering crypto games since 2021. Super big into Axie, and then not super big when it wasn't profitable, but we did it perfect. We called out the Axie devs. That was super fun. And I think the space has evolved so much since then. Like I'd taken a step back, got into DeFi, and then realized, wait a minute, there's a lot more going on in Web3 gaming. And there's so much value that I feel like talent can provide in Web3 gaming versus other niches in the world. Like if you think about what Web3 gaming can provide, you think about how much is in the industry already, and you just think about the fact that, oh my God, nobody's actually covering this. It's the perfect spell of classy takeover. So yeah, no, I 150% went into the industry full-time bangaroony. I was making good money before, but I figured that when you're doing your own business, you're doing your own thing, and you provide actual value, you can hopefully have some sort of influence in the future for gamers worldwide.
No, no,
And we got
absolutely.
Smiling in here too. What's good?
Hey,
What's up,
what's
buddy?
up?
The
What
Gala
is up?
buddy.
Oh my God. Oh, dude. Yeah. Hey. No. Speaking of Gala, I think we're all in the same. I said this to
Yeah, we
Ice. He
got
said he
Gala.
wasn't. We're on the same guild. Yeah. You're in Hydra as well. You're one of the
Hail Hydra, my
Hail
friends. The
Hydra.
co-founder of
Yes.
Hydra.
Yes. If you
Okay,
if
be a
you've
little
not,
bit careful with that. But yeah.
if you've not been playing Champions Arena, it's a really fun game. For all
Yeah,
Champions
I feel
Arena
like we
info.
have like I feel like we have like 50% of the DAU in our guild at this point. There's like 8 estates on the Hydra. It's ridiculous.
But it's ridiculous, but it's fun. It's super fun,
Yeah.
super addicting. So I know you pointed out your gala merch. I can't have you on and not point out that bloater. And I know we were talking
Yeah, this little thing.
behind the scenes about it. Yeah, tell us about it. Where did he come from? Why is he there? And how cool is it?
Well, you're lucky that this is a DeFi Kingdoms stream here, but okay, I'll give it to you. So apparently, there's a guy out there in DeFi Kingdoms that his entire persona is this bloater fish.
Yes.
And he had a bunch of his bloater fish behind his car, and I told him that I don't care what happens. When I go to Miami, I'm going to get one of these bloater fish. So I walked up to him. He was, talking his talk in the event, went straight up to the stand of DeFi Kingdoms, and I asked him, give me 2 of these bloater fish. And they went like, why? And I just went like, you have to give me them. And so he gave me the bloater fish. And ever since then, it's just been a part of my journey. I don't really know anything about DeFi Kingdoms other than the fact that it's a game, but that bloater fish stays there.
No. So like any good father, you rebaptized your bloater? Does he have a name, or is he just bloater?
I'm going to be honest. He was rejected. He was out on the streets, and I picked him up from the ashes. So he gets to
Okay.
choose what he wants to be.
As if we were speaking, of the devil, and he heard his name. Sticks intern, bloater personified, is here in chat. Welcome, Sticks, intern. So
Thank you for being here.
let's get to some questions, Classy. Before I have some
He's
pretty
named
cool
intern.
transitions. Yeah, we'll get.
Hopefully not the Cointelegraph intern.
No, but you know what though? He's my intern. He's your intern. He's Stick's intern. He's everyone's intern. So if you ever need an intern to call on, he's your man. So
Hell yeah.
let's get some questions in.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
All right, class. We've got questions. We want answers. We want them now. Let's start with you.
I'm
You sort
terrified.
of you teed it off. So I wanna start here. Play to earn, is that a failed marketing campaign? I mean, I feel like you
Oh
come
God.
in, you expect to earn, you expect to earn money. You don't. You leave bitter, and you may not come back. I mean, you're a gamer. You're a connoisseur of games in general, and you're a crypto gamer specifically here these days. I mean, play to earn. Should we just bury that along with the bear once this bear's done?
Oh no. Oh no. Okay, Christian. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I don't think that play to earn is dead. Oh God. Everybody wants me to say the latter, but I'm gonna be the contrarian here. I think play to earn as a concept fundamentally does work. However, in the confines of maybe skill to earn, right? That makes a lot more sense where you're actually good at a game and you play the game to earn money. I mean, I was high ranked in League of Legends and I played the game to earn money. Let's be honest. It was play to earn for me. Now, as a marketing tactic to the masses, if we're just going off on like, oh, you're a third world country, go screw your job. It's Ready Player One. It's like, okay, that's a little bit delusional. Maybe in the future we'll get there, but right now we're nowhere near that. AI hasn't taken over just yet. So in terms of marketing to the masses play to earn, that's definitely stupid. Like that doesn't make any sense. In terms of like maybe like how Big Time is kind of doing it, it's not perfect, obviously, but where like you need to own an asset that costs a ton of money and then those guys are earning, but for the most part, like you don't earn in the game. That makes sense. And I think it's something that we need to explore a little bit more because it makes in-game economies just that bit more sophisticated. And it kind of alleviates barriers because we think about World of Warcraft and we think about all these different games that exist already. I mean, rest in peace Rocket League because they took off trading. But we think about all these games that have these in-game economies that already have all these black markets. Like we just talked about RuneScape, right? They could be so much better if they just took a little bit of that moolah from people that are trading amongst each other and make it something that isn't shunned upon. Like, why does it have to be illegal? That's terrifying. It's not against TOS. Everybody does it anyway. So why is it something we look down upon? It's like the whole like marijuana debate where like everybody was against it for the longest of time. And then everybody's on that good stuff now. So all of a sudden it's legal. It's like, why wasn't it legal in the first place? Those are questions we have to ask ourselves. But the answer is because markets are not mature enough. People are not mature enough to grasp the concept that it is a good idea. So I would say play to earn as an idea works in certain confines, but as a general market term, I should probably just say like play and earn or something else, right?
For me, it's play to lose, Christian. I mean, what do you think? Play
Play
to
to
earn.
lose.
lose my temper, lose my money, lose
Yeah, talk
lose
about
my
Theta Arena.
ego. I mean, Christian Peter, what do you think? Play to
Yeah,
earn.
I mean, I have
What's
to
up?
echo some of Classy's sentiments there. I mean, I think that for the most part, we've misbranded it. It's been, it hasn't been play to earn, right? It's been play to not earn. That's been
Play
the
to suffer.
axis.
Yeah.
It's just like tokens get redistributed and things just have a tendency to go down. I think that once we get a little bit better with the tokenomics and basically the gameplay, there's got to be a good game loop involved with it. That's the problem, is that these games are just like, if you come in and you're just thinking like, oh, I'm going to get a bunch of these NFTs or whatever they are, and I'm going to earn from them. That's the wrong way to look at it. You've got to have the continual play of people coming in, people enjoying to play, people buying the things that they really want to earn. Those are the things that I think that the Web3 space just hasn't learned yet. Is that the Web2 space doesn't care. They're just like, hey, come on in, play these games.
We like
They're
losing
fun.
money, yeah.
Yeah, they're fun to play. And what Web3 is, just like, hey, you know what? There's that illusion that you might become a billionaire by owning this NFT or these special in-game items. And it's like all the regular gamers like, that's a bunch of BS. I mean, I just want to go have a good time, enjoy this game, spend a couple hours playing it every day. So where I think we're starting to see it's starting to mature a little bit, but the UI and the UX is still not there. I mean, when you get down to it, buying NFTs, putting them in your wallet, having to deal with all that is still just not there yet. Once we get to the point where it's seamless, people can jump in, people can have a good time, people can buy an NFT if they want one. They can, and then we should stop calling them NFTs. They should be in-game items or digital assets or whatever they are, and you can earn from those. That's where it comes in. And when we have an ecosystem where every single item in the game is something that you own, that's the big time. That's when it becomes really fun. Because right now there's just these digital assets that are kind of random. They might be a hero, they might be an item, but we want to have it where every single thing, land, items, the currency. I just think that it hasn't gotten to that point yet where every single thing inside the game is a portion of the game. You can own any part of it. You can do what you want. You can craft, you can battle, you can do what you want and enjoy it. That's when we get to the big time. That's when the masses come in. That's when the people that really love playing these games, the World of Warcrafts and things, are going, oh wow, great, I can own everything inside the game now. I want to play this. But yeah, until we get to that stage, it's just going to be a niche.
No, absolutely. Well, and Classy. If you don't know, you'll know here in a sec. I've got good quotes. I've got bad quotes too.
I've got lots of quotes too. They're just bad quotes.
I mean, that's spot on.
George agrees. I've so we were talking about play to earn, sort of that moniker of marketing strategy. It's new. GameFi is new as a whole. Social fi, that's pretty that's pretty new too. You've got the friend text, the Stars Arena.
It's not new.
Well, oh, that you're well. Yes, you're right. And I want you to elaborate on that here in a second. But to the general lay person, when the bull comes back and the general general media sort of catches this, they're gonna say, hey, you know what? Are they gonna say, hey, you know what? This is a good thing, or are they gonna say a bad thing? Elaborate, because you are right. It's not new. Tell us what you mean there.
Well, all they're gonna do, it's gonna be like CoffeeZilla videos, like Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather, where they just go like, "Oh, this is the newest crypto scam and the newest crypto Ponzi scheme." Like, I fail to understand how SocialFi has any tangible benefits other than just pumping creator shares and then pumping and dumping your favorite creators. Like, why not just have a Patreon or some kind of other NFT activation in a game, and maybe there's some kind of value that accrues there? Like, I think SocialFi is stupid. Hot take, I've used it. I think it's a really stupid concept. I know there was something back in the day called BitClout, and they went ahead and faked people's shares, and there's a lot of shady stuff going on there. So I just think it's the next it's like the meme coin craze, people have a lot of fun pumping and dumping each other, I guess. So I mean, good for them. They can have fun making money. Is it the most ethical thing in the world? It's not ethical, probably, but I'm sure that time will pass too, and we'll be onto something new. So yeah.
Christian, I mean, you've spoken on this matter specifically a lot in the past, sort of the bank infrastructure and how that sort of in many ways sort of smoke and mirrors. If you dig deep enough, SocialFi, not new, and what I was thinking you might get at, Classy, is the fact that, today, as things stand, it's the Facebooks and the Twitters of the world making the money. They're the ones sort of monetizing your social network interactions. Christian, the fact we can sort of own this narrative and be the ones making the money as opposed to these big businesses. I mean, what's your take? What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think social media is one place that can be disrupted, right? Because we know that those trends come and go every 5 years, right? You're going to have your MySpaces, you're going to have your Friendsters, you're going to have your Facebooks. Everybody's going to go to Instagram, everybody's going to go to Snap, and so at some point they're going to come around to, hey, I want to own a piece of this. Until they do, though, you're only going to go where your friends are. You're going to only go where your audience is. And we all know we're content creators. It's like we go to YouTube for one reason. That's where everybody is. That's where you get all the views. We could go to any of these third-party platforms, but YouTube for the most part is where you're going to get views. If you're a gamer, you're going to go to Twitch, right? There's all kinds of other platforms now coming up, but you go to where the eyeballs are, you go to where the views are. So until some platform can come along that's going to steal those views, it's going to give people a reason to go there where their friends are already going to be hanging out going, oh, this is so much better. That's when we get to get that revolution where people come off of Twitter and people come off of YouTube and people go to a different place because their friends are there, more people are there, eyeballs are there. But until that happens, it's just going to be the same old, right? We're going to have the Googles of the world that dominate everything, the Metas, everybody is going to be going to the same places they typically do. I pray that at some point we get off of these platforms because they suck and they're a pain in the ass and they're just a time drain. But until we do, we're going to go to where the eyeballs are, and we know it, and everybody else knows it. So it's hard to get that entrenchment out. That when they build that moat, it's really hard to get people to migrate. Everybody's parents now are all on Facebook, and the only reason why they go there is because everybody else's parents are on Facebook, so they can see what everybody else's parents are doing, and it's just like, okay, cool. Once they get off of that, they go on to different things. We'll start to see a little bit of migration, but it's going to take time, and I'm excited for the revolution when it comes. But until it does, we're kind of stuck with the status quo.
Oh, absolutely. And Classy, I think you're in a few different platforms, if I'm not mistaken. How are you using, how are you sort of taking advantage of these platforms, sort of accentuate your presence in the space?
Yeah, I mean, there are some platforms that are more monetization heavy, like YouTube, great search engine. But then there's the more exposure heavy platforms like TikTok. Every platform has its specialty. I think something that a lot of people don't understand is how slim margins are for these companies. A lot of the time, it's like economies of scale where like they need to get billions of people on these apps and hundreds of millions of users every month to interact here to make anything. And even then, most of these tech platforms are still losing money. So to have these SocialFi platforms come out, people do not understand that money needs to come and money needs to go. And advertisers, and it's so complex to get into social media. There's good reason why there are so little real established companies that everybody uses. It's because it's just a hard niche to get into. I think SocialFi, it might be a thing in 10 years, 5 years, I don't know. But what I think the iteration we have now just doesn't work. Maybe in the future there will be something that makes more sense. There's people thinking of concepts like POAPs, which is like you go ahead and participate in someone's stream and you get this NFT, and maybe one day it's like a collectible. That NFT was like my MySpace stream, and it was so cool back in the day, but nobody uses that anymore. So it's like it's worth a bunch of money because at that point he was the best creator or something like that. People will come up with things, right? They collect Pokemon cards. So maybe it might make sense, and there's plenty of ways to go about it. But what we have right now works better than what SocialFi is now. There's definitely potential there to explore something better, which I would have no idea what that would be.
Oh, you and me both. We're in the same boat of it can be better. What it looks like, I don't know. I need someone who's a lot smarter than I to come up with that one. But I know it can get better. That much we know.
Maybe.
Kristian, you had some awesome questions of your own. Here to sort of maybe pick from some of those and bring up part of the conversation.
Definitely. Well, I love watching Classy's, videos. Definitely follow him on Twitter as well for all the hot takes on everything.
Follow Kristian.
But I want to know, Classy, what game is your favorite right now today? What do you play the most on a daily basis? What takes up your time when you're not streaming or creating content?
So right now everybody's playing big time. So let's be honest, it's big time. There are a couple of games I really want to play though. Like Dead Drop, when the new snapshot comes out for Dead Drop, I'm going to be playing Dead Drop a metric ton. So that game's going to be a lot of fun to play. I'm looking forward to Legacy coming out. I'm going to be playing that. I play Champions Arena, every now and then. Like, that's a really easy game to play because you just load it up, do your dailies, and run away. So, I mean, for some reason, I find satisfaction in that. So I play that. But overall, it's kind of just been that. Like, in Web 2, like, I'll play, like, maybe League of Legends with my buddies or, like, CSGO. But I find more enjoyment in exploring Web 3 communities than playing Web 2 games at this point. Because people underestimate the culture of tight-knit communities versus just when something blows up, it's not the same. It never is the same. So it's really fun to have communities that mature together and really get tight-knit, and we get the OGs, and then Web3 gaming blows up, and all the degens begin to enter and it becomes corrupt. But we have that little community like, oh, remember back then when we used to talk to each other, we cared about each other. So I think we're at that point where Web3 games are really fun to play because of that. Up on a Discord, just chat with people. Everybody's on Discord. You have to market to people that are on these niche Discord communities. So it's super fun to be over there. And yeah, no, like I like Web3 games because community is number one, right? The games might not be there, but community's there.
Definitely. The community is always the biggest portion of all these games. And I think that what we're missing a little bit on that is, getting those Clash of Clans. I used to love going in Clash of Clans just so I could talk to my clanmates. There was only like 40 of us.
Guild chat, yeah.
Yeah, but you just had a great time talking to your clanmates. I didn't even have to play the game. I would just chat back and forth with them.
That's everyone. Yeah.
It was great. But so with that being said, you named a couple of games there. What do you think you're going to be playing a year from now more than anything else? So we know what you're doing today. We know what you're looking forward to. Which one of these games do you think is going to take you to the next level? Not today, not tomorrow, but a year from now.
I think that game's in a year from now, probably Last Expedition. Because hopefully that game's out by then. I don't know if it's going to be out, but if it is, that game's been super fun. Like, it's so early on that I can't really play it that often. But if I could, I would. Yeah. Other than that, I play Spider Tanks every now and then. So definitely Spider Tanks. It's a MOBA. I love playing MOBAs.
I've also seen you play in Star Atlas. Do you think that'll be out a year from now?
No. No way. That game's way too early.
Okay.
Maybe in like 3-4 years. We'll think about it.
Another 4 years, really?
You don't think Star Atlas is going to take 3 years at least?
Well, haven't they been
working on it? It's a big vision. It is a big vision.
Well, you brought up an interesting sort of concept here, Web 2, Web 3. I think if anyone was you mentioned there aren't many sort of Web 3 crypto GameFi content creators out there. I cover DFK specifically. I'm dabbling in other things. I know Kristian, you've played some other things as well. I play games. I'm not a gamer. Classy, you're a gamer, and you're you're damn proud of it. But the question here is, as far as GameFi, are we sort of confused? Sort of, are we flipping the script the wrong way? Are we trying to incorrectly make Web3 games feel more like Web 2? Should we just flip that narrative on its head and say, hey, you know what? Screw the Web 2 concept. Let's just marry the idea of Web 3 and run with it. Are we trying to sort of do too much by trying to attract the wrong crowd here?
That's tough. So there's two ways to think about it. I mean, the hardcore 15 people that are playing Web3 games will love your Web3 game. If it is just like 100%, you need to go ahead and grab your wallet. Like Sage Labs. Like Sage Labs is a good comparison with Star Atlas, where like every transaction you have to do a signature, and then you have to grab your Solana wallet from Phantom, and then you need to make sure that it has like Atlas tokens or Solana on there. No Web3 gamer is going to go through that unless they're like really hardcore on Star Atlas. So like, I love the idea behind fully on-chain games, but they aren't, like, the technology's not there yet at all, right? To fully embrace Web3 gaming, it is not there at all. Like, even Pirate Nation's a good example, where you might say it's fully on-chain, and yes, things in the game are on-chain transactions, but it still goes through a custodial game wallet. Your decentralized wallet goes to the game wallet, and then it interacts with it. So to some extent, it's fully on-chain, but it's like not really, because it's not fully owned by you. So I still think it's too early to marry Web3 gaming for what it is. Now, Web3 gaming is like a really broad term. It could be so many different things. Like, we can think about NFTs, and we can think about, making a token, and we can think about tokenomics, and then we can think about Node, and we can think about quests, and so many different things you could think about when it comes to being a Web3 game and activations with esports tournaments, which we're nowhere near. But yeah, I would say that the games that are going to blow up depends. If the market's a bull, we all know that things with tokens pump and then a bunch of people start playing it. But we also know that, games like Dead Drop, where it's just super Web 2, you might have a visor that's Web 3, but nobody really cares about it. I guess that's a Web 3 game. You could consider that. It really depends on your definition of Web 3. I would say it's a Web 3 game because it has some form of Web 3 in it. Those games are going to blow up because traditional people are already comfortable with that. They're comfortable with just playing games with a tower kit that they pay $20 for. Is it the best for them? Probably not, but that's what they like doing, which there's nothing wrong with that. So there's two ways to go about it. If you're future thinking and you think your game's going to come out in a year or two, you should probably already start thinking about Web3 and implementing it a little bit more hardcore into your game. If you're releasing this year, you probably need to be a little bit more Web 2 centric. Let's be honest.
No, I mean, absolutely right. And that's the piece. I mean, you sort of, in our conversation with Icy, he hit on this as well. I mean, the idea of being that you've got your alphas, your pre-alphas, your beta games. I mean, there's no real true game out there. You can sort of say, hey, you know what, this is a full-fledged, out and ready, Web3 game, and even the ones that claim to be out there, Web3 games aren't necessarily. They're still works in progress. I
They're
mean,
all very early.
they are very early. I mean, do you think the general audience can wait those 3, 4, 5, 6 years before these things come out full fledged? I mean, are we just are we all sitting here hoping this comes out next year, or sort of maybe with unrealistic expectations?
I think something you're underestimating is grabbing a Web 2 game that already exists that's been in development for 4 to 5 years and just slapping Web3 on it. All right. Like if people can figure out, there's a bunch of companies out there trying to do it and giving those avenues to actually end up doing that. Like we could just grab a game that's almost done and just throw Web3 in it. And then maybe that ends up being something. So I mean, it depends. Like the games that are already being built out and then, they've been built out for maybe like 1 or 2 years and it's a AAA title. That's going to take probably another 2-3 years. Maybe at that time, the market's mature enough. That's cool. I mean, we think about the fact that, are they going to wait? But we went through a 600-day bear market. We waited. So they probably will wait. Maybe not everybody, but there's going to be a hardcore audience. Like even Star Citizen has been in development for like over a decade at this point. It's been so long. They're practically ancient, but people waited and people will wait. So I'll say that I think that what people are considering mass adoption will come much sooner, significantly sooner than they're probably anticipating, because a lot of these games are much closer to release than you'd think. Is the full, fleshed out title like Fortnite today coming out in this year? No, it doesn't make any sense. That game has been in development for what, an extra 5-7 years as a title that grosses billions of dollars and has a massive team. But it started off humble. It looked pretty bad, but people loved playing it. The game doesn't need to look like a god. It just needs to play well, and people need to have fun playing it. It's a lot more simple than people make it out to be. So I could see that happening, next year for sure. That's just not a crazy concept.
No, hey, that hot take for sure. Let's in trying to be mindful of your time. We'll ask one question here. Speaking of hot takes.
Boy, I'm really on fire.
All right, so Bear's been a bitch. Ever been an bear, whether it be crypto or it's bad, right? Any lessons? We'll start with you, Christian. Any lessons you've learned that you're gonna take to this next bull market and sort of make yourself a better crypto investor? Defining crypto investor how you will. I mean, how are you? How are you gonna take those lessons learned and implement it? And more importantly, what are those lessons that you've learned?
Yeah, the biggest lessons I've learned is that, when you're in that up only market, everybody FOMOs and you get into things that you never should have just because somebody said, oh, this is going to be the next great thing. It's the shiny object that's out there. You're like, whoa, the metaverse was the big thing that came along in 2021, right? Everybody was talking, Facebook changed its name. Everything in metaverse went up like 5x overnight. It was absolutely nuts. And I was like, oh my God, I FOMO'd into it as well. I was like, wow, everything's going to be metaverse driven. But you get that and you look at it and there was nothing there. There was smoke and mirrors. There was nothing behind it whatsoever. And, it's just one of those things where when everything is going up, you feel like, oh my gosh, I got to get behind this. I got to throw money at it because I just don't want to miss out on that. But what you really should be doing is looking at those projects that have got the core team, the community, everything that you want involved with it, and just, focus in on one or two things that you really feel comfortable with. I know that we're here, we're talking Web3 gaming, and we all love the fact that I think games are going to really take blockchain to the next level. I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be next year, the year after, the year after that, but we all know it's coming. I mean, it's around the corner, and how long that corner is, we're waiting on it. But when we find a game that we like, be that, DeFi Kingdoms, or be that Gala Games, or be that anything that's out there, you get into the community, you dive in, you find out where your niche is, what you like, and you start buying. Right now is the best time. What I found is in the bear, nobody wants to buy anything. I think that we talked about this before, but I'm buying Gala tokens. I'm buying DFK Jewel. I'm buying all of these things because they're 99% off. It's just like, why not? If it goes to zero, it goes to zero. But I just feel like we're in such a great opportunity time. The opportunity is just everywhere, right? I remember when Illuvium was $1,800. Now it's like 35. You're like, okay, this is a AAA game that's being built out. So I'm taking these lessons and I'm hoping that everybody out there, because I hate giving advice and saying, oh, I'm into this game, I'm in, and then watching them go down and watching people get cracked. Yeah, and just seeing those things go on, you feel horrible as a content creator, as a human being, right? You want to see it when you tell people, hey, this is the accumulation phase. The bear is the time to accumulate. We get into projects that we like and we ride them up. And then don't be afraid to sell. Don't be afraid to sell too soon. Like, wasn't that Warren Buffett who said, I've never, felt bad about selling something too soon and taking a profit. So those are just a little bit of the items, but I think that gaming is going to take us to the next level on blockchain. If that happens in 2024 or 2025, I think that we're all here. We know that's going to happen, and I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, absolutely. Great points there, Christian. I mean, if you're sold on a project and you've seen it develop during the bear, the way some of these projects are being developed, if you liked it before at the prices that you were buying at then, why wouldn't you buy now? And it's not just sort of exclusive to Jewel and DFK. It goes to the Gal and these other projects too, right? Classy, what lessons have you learned during this bear that you're just gonna go ahead and implement?
Well, I think I'll start with what Christian was going at. So pretty much, when tokens are down 95, 99%, just because it's down that much doesn't mean it can't go down further. Like, a lot of these tokens, that the reason that they're down that much is because they had emissions, or maybe they had VCs that got in there, or maybe they're hyperinflationary because of how their token supply unlocks work, because whatever they're doing. So I think a lot of what the future is going to end up being is probably not going to be tokens. Like, I think NFTs are going to have a comeback. I think NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. A great example, I don't know if we're going to talk about Bitcoin ETFs, but there was fake news about Bitcoin, a Bitcoin ETF coming out. It was an iShares BlackRock Bitcoin ETF. And, when that came out, a ton of influencers started tweeting that out. And even I woke up and I was like, oh my God, I have to be really fast to this news. But, something I learned was, Classy, slow the hell down and really digest. Is there proof that this is happening? Is there a reason for you to confirm that I should show this to people? And should I believe that this is actually happening? So maybe someone had insider information. Maybe not. Maybe someone's trying to be shady and doing a 50x long on Rollbit and making $2.2 million. But, I think the main key point is like, FOMO is a B. So don't go ahead and FOMO into things, because I'd much rather be late to something than be early to it and be wrong. I think Axie Infinity was a great example of that, where we had this huge bull cycle in like May. Oh my God, everybody's moonboying, it's 50K. And then it dumped all the way to 30K. Elon Musk is like, never mind, I don't feel like doing this anymore. And then everybody thinks Bitcoin's dead all of a sudden magically. I don't know how it happened. Then summer came along. Historically speaking, in super cycles, summer is the bottom and summer is when things start going up. So, Axie had already proven itself with like 100x. I went ahead, grabbed Axie, and it did another 100x. So, just because, something happens and, people go crazy and then they run away and then they come back and then they run away, it doesn't mean that you need to make those harsh decisions. Like, first off, you don't need to buy these tokens most of the time. Like, you could probably flip an NFT, or maybe you don't get into an NFT. Maybe just play the damn game. But like, if we're looking into these ecosystems, it's more so for me. How has the bear market played out in terms of distribution? Is everything more centralized now because there's less people holding? Or is it like the big guys that held a bunch of these tokens, dumped them all, and now it's actually more decentralized? Did they work on that? Or are they still doing things? Those are all questions that I ask myself. But if it works out, you've done your own research and it makes sense, and you like the project and you think the tokenomics are sound, go ahead, explore it. But at the end of the day, don't just make rash decisions because you see a little metaverse pop up and a bunch of money raised. Because most of the time, they raise that money from somewhere, and they're probably holding that token to dump on you.
Well, it's a great point. On both ends, right? Don't be afraid to sell early and make your profits, but
Do
don't be
not.
afraid of but don't be afraid to be late either, because you're educating yourself and in terms of doing your due diligence. FOMO, FOMO is also dangerous. So with that said, Classy, thank you very much. I know this one's a short one, guys, but we want to thank Classy very much for taking some time out of his busy schedule to join us today. And Kristian, thank you again very much for hopping on back-to-back streams here. We'll keep you all posted with some more additional details. I think, Kristian, we've got a in-person meetup we're planning. Some more details on that to come. Stay tuned. And until next time, thank you very much, Classy.
See y'all later.
Any final words? Where can people find you?
Yeah, I think the final words is they can find me at, what is this, at SJGT Filthy, and they could go ahead and they can follow and like every single damn post from Filthy because he's bringing the juicy content. You better do it now or else.
Yes.
But
with that said,
ClassyCrypto.com,
appreciate it, man.
Boom, everything. Boom.
Catch y'all later.
So yeah.